Here's a fascinating book, if you have not seen this. It's called In One Day. It's by a fellow by the name of Tom Parker. I don't think that's Colonel Parker, is it, that manages Elvis. It lists various things, and apparently this is based on all kinds of surveys that he was able to get. Various things that Americans do in one day. Now, what's the population of the country now? About 226 million, something like that?
Right.
Give or take a couple of people. And you go through, and it's in one day what happens and what people do in this country. And some of it is absolutely fascinating. You could not believe it. We've excerpted a few of these things on a piece of paper here rather than going through the book. Did you know, for example, Americans collectively every day, this is every day, grow 6 square miles of skin. Now, how he figured this out, I haven't the slightest idea. But I suppose he went to a doctor and every day of the year, 150 Americans have a nose job, 150 have the bags removed from under their eyes, 100 people have a full facelift, and 32 people have their ears fixed, so they don't stick out so much. Fascinating. But we found out only two Americans a day have their faces lowered. And that's mostly to avoid buying a smaller hat. But that, Americans toss, how many gallons of beer and ale do you think? Not figuring you in it. In the United States, in one day, they drink 15.7 million gallons of beer and ale a day. That's 28 million six-packs every day. Now, again, he draws another little thing. The bottles and cans Medea's drinking, I love this, would fill a baseball stadium to a depth of 30 feet. We had our statistician figure out another little way to put that. They would form a line to the men's room stretching from here to St. Louis. See, that gives it a little more. Now, you think I'm making this one up, but it is in the book, so I don't want you to think we were doing something that is of questionable taste.
In the book.
There have been people who've accused us of that before, but it's in a book which is printed.
Yeah. With a cover,
has a cover on it. It's actually published by a legitimate publisher. We're taking this from the book.
Right.
Americans collectively pass more than 9 million cubic feet of gas. It's in this book.
In the book.
Can you... That's enough to inflate a balloon 250 feet in diameter. Also, enough to make a Goodyear pilot commit suicide. So I think that's enough. You can see in the book.
All in one day.
In the book. A fascinating book. It really is a fascinating book, and all based on research that this man has done. But you do not realize when you have 226 million people, the quantity. 2 million Americans every day go to a doctor's office. Now, how Americans spend $12,000 a day on dental floss?
Now, if that were stretched from New York.
There's one interesting one in here. It was every day 6,000 teenagers have sex for the first time. And that girl is so tired. Anyway. Now, forget that. I wasn't in the book. Hello there. Thank you. If you just joined us, we have Stephen Press with us tonight, Pete Barbuti, George Michaels with some... I have not seen it yet, but there's some interesting things that have happened in sports the past year. We've talked about this book before. Are you familiar with what this is?
What can be done in one day?
I guess you're familiar with it, all right. Yeah, it's a book by Tom Parker. It's called In One Day, and it lists the various things that Americans do or consume in one single day. Now, what's the population currently? Around 220 million?
Something like that, yeah.
I guess the last census. You would be surprised at some of the things that happen in this country in one day. I'm just going to open it at random and see if you can guess about anything. How many Americans do you think are physically attacked by a friend or relative in one day? It's the first thing I saw. I don't know why. Didn't mean to go to violence.
No idea.
1,500 Americans are physically attacked by a friend every single day of the year. All right, now, we cull some of these out, and I'll try these on.
All right.
Of course, it's not fair because I have the answers here.
Right. Oh, it never is fair when we work it. You always have the answers.
If you were sitting here, you'd
You
have the
answers.